My name is Kieran Kenny. I'm an assistant professor in clinical speech and language studies in Trinity College, Dublin, and I'm also the postgraduate program coordinator for my department. So I'm going to tell you today about our M.Sc in clinical speech and language studies and our postgraduate diploma in dysphagia. Within our department, we have two taught postgraduate options, the first of which is the M.Sc clinical speech and language studies. This M.Sc program is divided into several different specialist clinical strands, and applicants choose one strand to specialize in. For example, we offer strands in dysphagia, voice, augmentative and alternative communication, and others, and you can see a full list of our strand options available on our website. Some strands are available as both full-time or part-time options, though some are available as part-time options only, and that information is also available on our website. Our second taught postgraduate option within our department is the postgraduate diploma in dysphagia. Sometimes people ask me which option they should choose, the M.Sc clinical speech and language studies or the postgraduate diploma in dysphagia. Each option has its own different merits. For example, in the M.Sc program, you can choose from one of multiple clinical strands like dysphagia, voice, or AAC, but the postgraduate diploma option is for dysphagia only. In the M.Sc program, there's both a research and a clinical focus, but the postgraduate diploma in dysphagia is a clinical focus only. The M.Sc program is available through a combination of full-time and part-time options, but the postgraduate diploma in dysphagia is available as a part-time option only, though it is completed within 1 year. In the M.Sc program, there's an expectation that you'll complete some research, and as such, you complete a dissertation as part of your work. But there's no such dissertation requirement for the diploma, because it's not a research-focused course. On both programs, however, you do go out on clinical placement, and so they do have an equal clinical component. There are several entry requirements associated with our course. The first and most important of which is that you must already be qualified as a speech and language therapist or speech-language pathologist. Our taught postgraduate options are not designed to qualify you to become a therapist. Your existing speech and language therapy qualification must also be recognized by the government or professional association in your home country. For example, the American Speech Hearing Association, Indian Speech Hearing Association, or the Irish Association of Speech and Language Therapists. We have an English language requirement for our course, and you can see the details of that on our website. Our English language requirements are slightly higher than those required by Trinity College Dublin in general. This is very important because you need a high level of English for both the academic and clinical work. You must also have an overall grade of a 2-1 or higher. Your home country may not use a system like Trinity College Dublin does, but don't worry about that. During the course of your application, our academic registry will convert your grade and see whether you meet that requirement or not. Lastly, we also require that you have 2 academic references attached to your application. When applying, you simply enter the details of 2 people who will act as referees for you, and we will contact them automatically to obtain their references. The important thing is that you remember that they must be academics and not clinical references. The typical student for our course will require certain skills in order to successfully complete the course and enjoy their time while they're doing it. The first and most important attribute is that you must be self-motivated. There is quite a lot of work involved in this master's program and in the postgraduate diploma, so the ability to motivate yourself to complete coursework is very important. It's also very important to be extremely organized. There are a lot of moving parts in the course and a lot of material to get through, and it's your responsibility to make sure that you can do so adequately. Our course is also very heavily focused on critical thinking. In other words, we're not the kind of course where you come along, learn some theory, and take a test to test your knowledge on that theory. Instead, you learn principles of speech and language therapy and how to apply them in clinical practice. And you need to demonstrate to us that you've thought about that in your own time and extended your thinking beyond what you learned in lectures. It's also helpful if you have good presentation and writing skills, because these are a large component of our course. Here's a list of modules for our taught postgraduate options. I'll go through the M.Sc program first. Under the M.Sc program, you'll see that there are 3 research methods modules. Research methods 1 has a quantitative focus, 2 has a qualitative focus, and 3 is about research design in general and also research ethics. These are designed to help you get your skills up in order to complete a research project. You also take a module in clinical evidence-based practice. This module is about learning to critically evaluate published literature about speech and language therapy assessments and treatments. You then take a module in advanced clinical skills, and the advanced clinical skills module is where you learn to subspecialize in your chosen strand. For example, advanced clinical skills dysphagia, advanced clinical skills voice, or advanced clinical skills AAC. Finally, there's a dissertation module as well attached to the M.Sc program, and in this module, you'll learn how to put together your research project and write it up. The Postgraduate Diploma in Dysphagia involves taking Research Methods 1, the quantitative module. Instead of taking Research Methods 2 and Research Methods 3, Postgraduate Diploma students take a module called Reflective Practice, and in Term 1, they learn about assessment, and in Term 2, they learn about intervention. The purpose of these modules is to take clinical situations and evaluate whether our assessment and intervention practices work well for us, work well for our clients, and are evidence-based. Students in the Postgraduate Diploma also take the Clinical Evidence-Based Practice module, and they take the Advanced Clinical Skills Dysphagia module too. You'll see that there's no dissertation requirement for the Postgraduate Diploma in Dysphagia. The structure of our program is that the M.Sc on a full-time basis is completed within 10 teaching weeks over the course of the academic year. If you're looking at taking a part-time M.Sc option, you do 6 weeks of teaching in year 1 and 4 weeks of teaching in year 2. For the Postgraduate Diploma in Dysphagia, you complete 6 teaching weeks in the year of the program. It's worth remembering, however, that these weeks do not include time that you need to study by yourself and complete your coursework, and it does not include clinical placement, which happens outside of these teaching weeks. The research component of the program for the M.Sc involves doing a research project. And this could be a research project that is patient or client-based, or it could be something that is not patient-based, like a systematic or a scoping review. There's also an opportunity to join in on projects that are already in place that have been devised by some of our staff and some of our clinical partners. We strongly encourage our students to consider publication and presentation of their work, and we support them in doing so. This is an extremely popular option, and many of our students have gone on to become published authors. The clinical component of our course is covered by the Advanced Clinical Skills module. In that module, you'll take lectures given by international and national experts in your field. You'll learn about the latest advances in speech and language therapy for client assessment and intervention, and you'll also learn how to apply technological solutions to those. For example, video fluoroscopy, high-resolution manometry, and video stroboscopy. You'll also complete a clinical portfolio as part of that module. The clinical portfolio is an opportunity to translate the theory that you learn in your lectures into clinical practice. This is done partly through case studies and through case presentations that you will give. We also run continuing professional development within our department, and you'll be invited as a student to participate in these CPD courses. The clinical portfolio also captures the clinical placement that happens as part of our Advanced Clinical Skills module. Clinical placement happens over 80 hours, which translates into about 2 full weeks of work if you consider working from 9 to 5. Clinical placement is made up at a minimum of 40 face-to-face client hours and 40 hours of indirect work, for example, writing clinical notes or preparing reports for clients. When students go on placement, they are expected to complete a list of clinical competencies, which are rated by their placement supervisor. Students themselves choose whether they would prefer to use entry-level competencies or more advanced competencies. Advanced competencies are suitable for those who already have a degree of clinical experience in the area and want to challenge themselves more. The clinical site which you will go to as part of your clinical placement will be selected either by us or by you. Some students are already working in clinical practice and would prefer to complete their hours in their home institution, and that's fine. Other students will not have a clinical site available to them, and in that case, we will identify a site for you. If you want to learn more about our postgraduate options, you can visit our website for our M.Sc program or our postgraduate diploma in dysphagia. Both websites contain further information about what you need to do to apply for the course and what you can expect from the course. There are also videos available of past graduates of the courses talking about their experiences. You're also welcome to contact me at kieran.kenny@tcd.ie.